Hi everyone, my name is Christina Diambo. I'm a teacher of French by profession. And well, I'm a transcriber. Hey.
It was at this moment that she knew. She fucked up.
Bonjour, my name is Christina Diambo. I'm a teacher of French by profession. I also do translation and interpretation, and I'm also a transcriber during my part-time, my free time. And well, I'm a girl raised in Western, born in Nyanza, bred in Western, and I relate mostly with the Western watu wengi sana. So that is Christina Diambo for you, alias known as Tina. Yes. I got my ID when I was in high school, in Form 4. I went to Mukumu Girls. So luckily enough, our school principal would organize for, I think our village, not villagers, I mean, someone who's in the election and stuff, kuja kuchukua, register students for an ID. So I remember this lady came in and we were called, those of us who are 18 years and above. Mnaitwa, okay, you're now doing, like you're being taken, is it biometric data? So that you can have our IDs. So yeah. So there's this so when you were called, those of us who are 18, me nilikuwa tu like mina kam kuchukua, like nakam kuchukuliwa, what do you call it, IDs, but we really did like no one really took us through this process of having an ID, like sasa uko peke yako, like you're on your own, you're no longer a kid. Any mistake you do outside here, kama like if you engage in any activity that is against the government regulations, that's against the government regulations, you're like, no one really took us through that process of getting an ID. So when you were called, when you were called, tulikuwa tu like tunakuja tu kuchukuliwa like biometric data and all the other information, then wachukue, then tupewa IDs. Like no one really took us through that process. Now it came to that part when unaulizwa maswali, sijui where is your home, unaona hizo information ziko nyuma ya ID. I literally didn't know anything because I was brought up in Western, and okay, we'll go Ocha once in a while kama kuna matanga as usual. So this unaulizwa like where is your home. For me, I know it's Kakamega, so I just told this lady. So what's really took, like for her, she took her was like, okay, it's normal when you tell someone I'm a Diambo and I've been brought up in Western, mtu anakuuliza like when ni Jaluo na unakunu ni Kakamega, like it doesn't really add up. And you know, it's funny because no one asks you ati ukiwa Nairobi, my name is Diambo, ati when you're Diambo na uko Nairobi, it doesn't really happen. But so being in a school in Western, then you're unaulizwa jina yako Diambo, mfunga Kakamega hapana. So I just told her, okay, mimi nitakupea namba ya mzazi, umpigie umuulize hizo information zote zenye zinahitajika nyuma ya ID. So that was my process of getting an ID in Form 4. That's time when I got my ID print. Okay, I finished Form 4. Well, it was okay. I got 18 in March. So when it was okay, I got 18 in March 2012. So that was when I did KCSE. Then 2013 results were out. So one thing I remember when I was 18, not about the 20s, I was 18. Then my dad, there was a time my dad came from work. Then akapata, okay, my mom is a jack of all trades. So alikuwa na a stall where she sells vegetables, clothes. She did all type of business. So there's a time nikiwa at my mom's salon. I was the one actually to prepare supper. So I left the salon, went to the house to prepare supper. But before it okay, so I told you my mom had a stall. So nilichukua miwa nikaenda nayo kwa nyumba. So I went and I chewed that sugarcane from the kitchen. Nikaeka kwa some buckets somewhere. So my dad, when my dad came from work, akakuja akapata hizo stuff ziko hapo. I think he was just, adulting. I'm trying to understand him now. I think it was pressure. I think pressure tu ya uzazi or something. So he just came and told me, "Wewe umemaliza tu shule juzi, umepata B-." umepata the same grade na cousin yako mwenye hana wazazi. Because I have a cousin of mine who I think he was brought up with other family members, not the real parents, because the parents passed on. So alikuwa like, umepata the same grade, I will say the name. Umepata the same grade na cousin yako mwenye hana wazazi. So like what basically what is the ni kama like he expected me having both parents nafaa kupata hata A- ama because I had a B-. Nataka kupata maybe nipate A because both parents are there, and like my cousin whose both parents are not there. So he uttered some words, like he was just too angered. I don't know, by that act of just eating sugarcane and not preparing supper on time. So with that pressure nikakuwa tu na hasira, nikasema mimi hapa by the way mimi sikai. That very day nikatoka nikaenda, I went back to my mom's salon, which was a walking distance. It wasn't really, it's not really far. So nikaenda huko nikamwambia my mom, by the way, so you have a friend of yours. Like I was crying. Si ati nimeenda huko to confidently nimetoka tu kwa nyumba, because I was really angered. Like nimemaliza tu form 4, you're expecting your parents to be pampering, like kuna ile see pampering ndio tu kwa tumezoea pampering. Like you expect so I went to my mom, nikakuwa like I was crying. So I told her, by the way, I want to live anywhere I want to go. So I told her, by this, you have a friend of yours, she has a friend who's called Carol. One thing is my mom, by the way, she has a network of friends. So nikamwambia, by the way, talk to Carol, mwambie mimi nimemaliza form 4 na ninajua French. Bumu uonge na yeye si akona shule. Hiyo shule yake mimi nitakufunza. That was the day I made the decision of leaving home. And trust me, the following day my mom called that friend of hers. And that's how I left. I started the adulting life. So I went to this school. It's kind of far from home, from Kakamega actually. It's like so I think. Yeah. So it's like an hour drive to the school. So I think 3 days after what happened, after that incident with my dad, I left. I left for that school, and that is how my teaching profession began at 18 years. Then I remember being away from I was 18. So being away, there's a time I actually wanted to join campus. Yeah, but you see, I had not gotten the points. Do you call them cluster points? Yeah, to join campus. I had 56, and by then the government was taking 58. So I went to this school. I taught for that. I didn't even go through an interview. Tunafanyishwa interviews, sijui unataka job ama nini, because this was my mom's friend. Alisema tu, so you know French, you're confident in your French. So nikapenya tu. I started teaching French at that time at that school. So 1 year down the line, before I wanted to join campus, that was in 2014. I joined campus in 2014 September. So that must have been 2 months prior. I applied for a parallel degree course in Maseno. So before I did my application, I remember calling my dad. Nikamwambia, dad, mimi nataka to apply Maseno for an education. You know what she told me? Si unafanya kazi. Like that was his response. So definitely, like I had to chip into my pocket. And by that time, nilikuwa nalipwa 6K. 6K was a lot of money. I mean, yeah. So that 6K nilikuwa naona kama the very first time I was paid, nilikuwa naona kama more come say. So with that 6K, I think I remember I bought I remember buying what do you call it? Gas cylinder was the very first thing. Gas cylinder, I think by then pamoja na hiyo nini 2K isha. So I went to the nearest market there is Malava Market, the nearest market in the school. So I went and bought some foodstuffs, I think vyombo. Now I remember, guys, especially Naisha, na sijabai sufuria. So, with the remaining amount of money nikaangalia nikasema, kwa hii pesa, by the way, the only thing as in kama nikubai sufuria nitabai tu moja. So I bought one sufuria. And coming back, I came back. So during that period ya kupika, I'd look for a criteria. So napika mboga kwanza, ndio ugali ifuate. So there's this time I cooked ugali fast. Oh my, I had and you know, the moment umepika ugali kwanza, like kusafisha sufuria ugali is hard. So that's why I'd start with boga, then ugali. So this time I started with ugali, then boga. Like there's no way I'll cook that boga. So what I did, nikaulizia kama kuna boga, because the school I was staying in the teachers' quarters. So nikaulizia kama kunaweza pata boga students. Nikaambiwa boga walishamaliza kuserve hapa, because by that time it was around 8 and students could eat at around 6. So what I did, nikabango hiyo ugali, kubango nikukula ugali. Kubango it's a Luo term to mean kukula hiyo ugali kavu. So mimi nikabango hiyo ugali na maji baridi. So that was my 19 years, yeah. So at 19, yeah, I was a teacher, I was a class teacher. Because nilikuwa hadi class teacher by the way at 19. Then I remember, okay, I applied on my own, by the way. I applied to join campus on my own. But now I had to wait a little longer because your time nilikuwa na expectation when I called home, but anipea do ya kuapply. So I did the application on my own. Yeah, later maseno ikakuja. So I remember I turned 20 in 2014. Yeah, before joining campus. So I turned 20, and I remember I think I can state the very day I turned 20. I was dating this guy. What? He was a student. Actually, he was a student at Most, and we'd met at we'd met up to home where I stay. Where we stay at home in Kakamega. There's like not even student hostel. There were two rental houses where he used to stay there, but he was a student at Most. So this guy, yeah, we met, we started dating. When I went to teach that school, actually we were in communication most of the time. So I turned 20 when I was at that school, but I remember that very day he told me to travel back home. So I traveled home. It was I think it must have been a weekend. Yeah, so I came back then. Yeah, I traveled to Kakamega. That is where he was staying, and our home as well. So I passed by home first before going to his place. So when I went to his place, yeah, those were the very first time I had a birthday cake. The very first time I had people celebrating not even people, him celebrating my birthday. So that was my very first, I think, yeah, birthday that clicks my mind. And yeah, the very first time I turned 20. Now I'm welcoming you now in my 20s. I joined campus when I was 20 years and I think months, because I turned 20 in March and I joined campus in September 2014. Yes. So turning 20. Now when I joined campus, then I was now 2021, all through to 24. So during my campus days, there are these specific days I'll really remember. Because there's a time I was with my friends. Okay, I used to stay outside campus most of the time, but there's a time I used to stay in Maseno. So there are days I wouldn't really have to go back to the house to have lunch. Napita through either Newmark with friends. I stayed there. Newmark is the hostel in Maseno. So I'd stay there with friends and make stories. So there was this time nimesota. Nikasema, by the way, sina doya sapa kwa hao. I used to have a roommate, but niko like, you have to contribute staying with someone. So nikasema, guy nimesota, I need to call my dad. Angalia sina credo. So I please called my dad. He please called me back. Honestly, I look back during that very day, by the way, we laughed. I was with friends in the hostels. We laughed, but then going back to the house, Niko like, really, I called, it's a reality inaanza kudon when you're alone. Because when I was with friends, tulicheka tu like, me please call budangu na, pia me please call back. So Niko like, when I'm going back to the hostel to my place now in Nyawita, Niko like, what? I'm like, I was the one actually to provide for that very day, but Niko like, I've not been sent money, so I won't have anything to buy for supper. So there's this roommate of mine, she's called Gloria. Hey, may God bless her wherever she is. So with Gloria, she used to have, like, she was supported with the parents like fully, and she'd provide even on days that I wouldn't be able to provide for myself or provide for both of us in the house. So ange buy food with no complaint at all. There's no day where they will complain like, hey Tina, by the leo uja buy food and we unafoko buy. So I'm really grateful for her and many other friends that I met in campus. Then my 20s. There are some okay, my childhood has been affected. The decisions I make times have been affected with my childhood, because keep in mind such instances of please calling home, then you please called back, or maybe you're like that incidence of I'm calling home to apply to do an application in campus, then I'm told to like, okay, see unafanya kazi, like you're working, so you need to sort yourself. So I think such upbringing has made me to stand on my own and make decisions on my own without depending on people, and that's how it takes time for me to ask for help from people, because I know it's me or me. So me. So yeah, that is the main thing that my childhood upbringing has affected the decisions I make, because yeah, those decisions I make them on my own. There's something that happened in my life that barely, like, people at home rarely get to know, apart from my sister who I'm close to, but my dad, my mom, they get to learn of it. But so such things, like you're told to do things on your own, it has made me to be, can I say independent lady? Maybe. Yeah, so such things imefanya nimekuwa tu so independent. Like it takes really time before I could help. I can't even remember the last time I sought help from a friend, or I sought help from maybe a colleague. Not really. So I stand on my own most of the time. I make decisions on my own. So ni mimi ama ni mimi. So if nikiona nimefika mwisho, I just cry and sleep, and yeah. So I think that's it. Where? I think okay, this guy I dated when I was 20, and we came to break up. We came to break up in 2018, like break up. It is like, you're dating someone, then mnanyamaziana. I don't know if I can call it a breakup. Then inaendelea like on and off. Yeah, it was an on and off relationship. So it eventually went off in 2018. So I can say okay, in campus, I think being in such a state where you're like you haven't really received that love ile tukiwa mdogo. Like take for example, getting at 20 ndo sasa my birthday was being celebrated by someone whom I'm dating, but you see he was in campus, or had not even joined campus, so he had much of an experience. So I'd look at it as love, like nile ni kama like let's call it a shoulder to lean on, ama niseme like I'll look at it as love. But I think that guy loved me. I think he did. I think he did, because honestly, there are days when I'd call home. I was in campus. So actually, I met him when I was 20. So joining campus, we're still in touch, we're still in communication. So there are times I'll call home, and maybe the response you get is, wacha tuone nini tutafanya. Like mpiga simu tumiwe pocket money, then you're like, wacha tuone nini tutafanya. So there are days I'm actually talking to him, and he was in Nairobi by then. So he was a student in MUST, but later by the time I was joining alikuwa amemaliza, so he was in Nairobi hustling, actually working. So there are days when we are talking, he calls and he's like, hi Tina, have you had your umekula supper? Then I'm like, bado sijakula, maybe I'll prepare, tutapika baadaye. Or maybe akisikia I don't feel like eating, so he's like because he knew the situation at home. Like he was our neighbor, he knew my mom. I know my mom doesn't know.
Will your mom watch this?
No. So, yeah. So he knew my mom, he knew my dad, he knew my siblings. Like he knew the situation at home. So at the days when I call him and I'm like, when he calls, then he's like, Miss Sifilku, like kukula. So he'd angezijazia to probably I'm broke. And he'd send me money. Yeah, he'd send me money. In so many occasions, that guy sent me money. So I'd say maybe it was an angel sent from heaven. I don't know. Because there are days, actually, he honestly alikuwa ananisort. With support from home, support from home is also his support. So I can't say that he was a bad guy. No, I wouldn't say that he was a bad guy. We just fell out because of 1-2. So yeah. What would I want to change in my 20s? No, okay, honestly, I wouldn't want to change anything because my 20s were basically in campus, and while I had fun in campus, honestly, I did have fun in campus. So I had fun in campus, and fun in this essence, like I'd balance my classes. Those few classes, classes zingine nazo honestly nilikuwa tu nazilenga. So but my main course was French, so all my French class, I was actually a class rep, so I didn't have an otherwise. Like how was I chosen as a class rep? No, when first year of second class and everyone was like, yeah, Tina, you can be our class rep. So I didn't object, and that is how I settled for that class representative. Though there are days when I didn't feel like going to class, because looking at maybe the home kuna issues, like you have your own issues and relationships peer, so you don't feel like going to class, but then you remember, oh, you're a class rep and maybe expectations peer ziko hapo, and you're the one who sent a message kuna lesson. So yeah, but I'm glad because it gave me it made me a bit of responsible, because I had to take my classes kind of serious. Alafu pia something else with campus, I'd say, yeah, I wouldn't change anything. What I'll just do more is I'd network more, like, because it's in campus, honestly, it's in campus that we build network. Like, okay, that is my take. In campus is where we build network, because looking at it right now, my friends, I can't say circle of friends because I don't have circle of friends. So with looking back, like in campus is where I've made friends who let me say tangible friends, because while we were primary, kuna venye tu we fell out, high school as well, there's a fallout. So in campus, like looking back in my 20s, what I'll change is I'll network more, so that patana huku nje, like you've built as a network, because huku nje kupata network, by the way, yeah. Yeah, I can say I'm trapped, but that or and yeah. I'm trapped and thriving, because looking back, by the way, like if I look back, well, okay, I think there's something that really stood out when I was in my 20s. After campus, actually, hey, the hustle of getting into the graduation list, Maseno. So I missed out on I was to graduate in 2018, but I missed out because of some units in political science. I used to do political science and French and history. Then as a history student, you had to take some political science units. So those political science units, I had a retake, and I wouldn't graduate in 2018. So that's how it now happened, that I had to graduate now in 2019. So with that fail, like I look back and say, like, okay, I felt at that time I felt like I'd failed, but then it's at that point that akili ilianza tu kufanya kazi mbio. It's actually during your low moments that unaanza kufikiria is it logistically. Yeah, so the graduation list is out. I'm not even graduating. So what happened during that time, I remember doing application leadership forums, because in campus I used to take part in most leadership events and stuff. So I applied for a leadership forum at ELF, which is Emerging Leaders Foundation, and luckily enough I like nilipenya. So I left Kakamega to come for the physical interview in Nairobi, and I passed, and that's how I now shifted to Nairobi. So during after my interview at ELF, it was like a 15 minutes interview. I just said, why not pass by Alliance Fonse, and I check on a friend. So I called this friend, it's called Horace, that I told Horace I'm passing by Alliance, might be around. Actually, he had to come because he was not at work on that day. So he had to come, and during that, when he came, he also had another friend. So it was like we were a circle of 4 people. Yeah, 4 people there. So I told them, like, Mimi, I'm not graduating. No, I'm from a ELF interview. So I told them, Mimi, I won't be graduating. The list is out. I'm not graduating. And but should you hear of any opportunity, just let me know. So from there, we exchanged contacts with these other 2 guys that were there, and one of them actually is the one who sent me a link to apply for a job. Not even a link, it was a contact that was going viral. So he just told me this school is looking for a teacher of French. Why don't you give it a try? So that was after I'd actually gone home. So he called. I called that number, and I just told the head of school. That was the number of the head of the school. My name is Christina Viambo. I won't be graduating, but I'm confident with my French. So can I give it a try? Then I was like, yeah, you can. What you need to do, come with your papers, kuja na barua ya kanisa, because it's a Christian institution. So kuja na barua ya kanisa. Yeah, that is basically that is actually the transition, the most I can say the most, how do you call it? It's a turn up of my life, because missing on the graduation list, I felt like my life had come to an end, like come to a stand, because unajua wazazi wamekupeleka shule, umesoma, they're expecting much from you, but then on your end unaona nika you failed them by not graduating. Yeah, so the decision, the leap, let me call it the leap of faith that I took, leaving home to come to Nairobi to do that interview, that was the most turning point of my life, because from there opportunities have been coming, doors have been opening, and I can say 2020 was that time. I remember, yeah, my door was closed for 2 hours, rent, and I know if my dad is watching this atakuwa anajua hapa leo, because I never told him. And so when like those are the high, like the lows, the highs. That okay, there are those highs, getting a job in Nairobi, opportunities coming, doors opening, getting gigs. Then the lows, sasa ndio time COVID iliingia. I know I'm a part-timer, so I'm not fully employed. So I get employed, I get paid with the number of classes, the number of hours I'm in class. And considering schools had closed, and it took us time before we transitioned online, you transitioned to the online classes. So the money that was coming in and the money going out, there was no, like, the ratio of that coming in to the one going out was very wide, very big. So yeah, those are the, as you can say, I'm thriving as yeah, is it thriving? Sharp but thriving, yes.
Playing a game. Smash. You know the game.
So you're giving me like celebrity names. Four people.
Yeah. Smash.
I hope they're not too younger than me.
Smash, marry, kill, pass. Smash, marry, kill, pass. Smash,
Smash, marry, kiss.
A kiss.
Smash, marry, kiss, kill. Oh, smash.
Sasa. Sawa, natoka nje kuchukua.
Smash, marry, kill, ngoma.
Umesema smash?
Smash, kiss, marry,
Kill.
kill.
Smash. Smash.
Smash, marry, kill, kiss.
Kill, kiss.
Kill, kiss. Smash, marry, kill, kiss. Larry Madowo, Trevor Ombija, Ilikomondi, Willy Paul.
Ha, Larry Madowo, Mari. Trevor Ombija. Smash. Cause dude is, huh? Okay. Who else?
Willy Paul.
Pass. Oh, ilikuwa kill. Oh, kill.
Ilikomondi.
Kiss. Yes. Parting shot. So that is like a message to the young people out there.
Or any other person.
Or Olive. Okay. Parting shot. I think like a message to the young people out there. Thrive where you plan. Like, is it? How does this statement go? It's a phrase. Bloom where you're planted. Yeah. So take for example, I have friends of mine asking me like, you are a trained high school teacher and you're teaching a primary school. Okay, that was the very first job I got in an academy, and I can say I look back and I don't regret, because kama ningekuwa nangoja ati nataka job sijui ya high school, ningengoja, or maybe I would have gotten a school of maybe lower standards. Okay, I've gotten a different school, but I took that leap of faith, came for the interview, got the job, and I can say it has been an eye opener, because I'm not fully employed. I go teach. Okay, I'm paid on the hours I'm in class, so I get it's on a part-time basis, so I'm able to get a lot of free time to do my other stuff. And during these at the time that I do my other stuffs is where I've been most challenged, because I get more challenging tasks on, let's say, translation and interpretation, and I'm able to challenge myself professionally. So I can say to the young people out there, wherever you're planted, just bloom. Like, yeah, put in your best foot forward, and yeah, you get it. You get there.